ghost white goon will rain the muck storm.
The ghost white goon will raise the muck storm. Oh, Grub Gristlepicker, I understand your holy lyrics. The muck storm is this, when I'm putting out there for the people the tome of holy transmissions. And the ghost white goon is me.
The squid god squirms in all our brains.
Yes. He's saying that, yes, okay, it's true for now that the squid god squirms in all of our brains. But what he's really saying is that we are on the verge of a new age where the never-ending carnival queen will drive the colossal squid god from our brains and our hearts and our souls.
The hill creature is the hand of the schmutzbog.
The hill creature is the hand of the schmutzbog. Okay, I've got it. So the schmutzbog represents the murk, the impenetrable, meaning the knowledge of the never-ending carnival queen, which it is my job as the curator of the Tome of Holy Transmissions to clarify for you, so that all may be revealed.
The end will make you go insane.
The end will make you go insane. Now, I believe this lyric could have multiple potential meanings. One, we stand at the end of days. All is about to change, and this change is going to be horrific. The wrath of the weather witch has become so destructive that it causes civilization to fall. And in the apocalyptic world which follows, we all go horribly insane. But I have to believe that it means something else. That we will all band together as disciples of the never-ending carnival queen and defeat the colossal squid quad, mollifying the weather witches and ushering in a wondrous new age of civilization where we all go wondrously insane. Where our minds collectively work differently and all is wonder, fellowship between beings, and stewardship of this glorious earth. Welcome to the latest installment of the Tome of Holy Transmissions. In the last transmission number 2, you beheld the emergence, that moment when the hill creature traveled through the portal into this realm. In this transmission, the hill creature will tell of the sensational events that preceded his emergence, events that took place in
the Dream Cavern.
That's the place! Now the tale that you're about to hear the hill creature tell comes from a text that he was handing out to people on street corners around Oregon as he preached and attempted to warn people of the looming threat posed by our dreaded nemesis,
the colossal squid god,
and the redemption offered by our Savior,
the never-ending carnival queen.
Oh, she is salvation. She is salvation.
I'll say the hill creature composed this text 4 months ago, shortly after the emergence and before the other disciples of the never-ending carnival queen followed him through the portal, and some of them, Preacher Mite Beard in particular, also took to the streets, contradicting elements of the hill creature's message and engaging in a battle for your souls. As you know, they all live in my house in Oregon City, and the tension has been building. I fear towards some dreadful climax. Anyway, let's focus on the positive. You can choose to listen to the hill creature narrating this text, which will follow, or you can read it yourself in the textual visions section of the website, thehillcreature.com. Ideally, though, you can get a paper copy from one of the creatures if you see them wandering the streets.
Come here. Come here.
Honestly, I sometimes go back and forth still as far as what I believe about the never-ending carnival queen's intentions for us. But I still do heartily believe that the hill creature's emergence was the first step in defeating the colossal squid god and ushering in the new age. I do. The grub gristle picker really testified to that inevitability when he sang, "The hill creature came busting out of the portal and he saw this world. The winds of Revel Realm came torrenting and the dreamlight swirled. And what will come to these strange folks here at the end of days is a snow-white cluck, is a bull's wild buck, is Granny in a starry haze."
The hill creature came busting out of the portal and he saw this world. The winds of Revel Realm came torrenting and the dreamlight swirled. And what will come to these strange folks here at the end of days is a snow-white cluck, is a bull's wild buck, is Granny in a starry haze.
You know, actually, listening back to that now, those lyrics are kind of ambiguous, really. Anyway, enjoy the tale!
My dearest early 21st century Oregon-dwelling humans, rejoice! For I have been sent here by Her Holiness, the never-ending Carnival Queen of the Kingdom of Revel Realm, to redeem your quite understandably freaked-out souls. Brothers and sisters, I know what you are experiencing. Bewilderment, bemusement, heebie-jeebies. Who could blame you? Your American experiment crumbling? Your dwellings all but unattainable, save for those few linked to your neighboring land of California through some kind of infernal treasure beam? And that is unfathomably the least of it. The creeks are rising, the forests are burning, the horrifically inconceivable has occurred. You have driven the weather witches mad. The expressions of their wrath crash frightfully in your present and loom unimaginable on your horizon. It wasn't supposed to turn out this way, was it? Oregon abounded in natural marvels, and your America, though still admired in the vile muck of its original sins, seemed to be schlepping towards somewhat less fetid ground. And now? You feel it, don't you? In this world, capable of producing such enchantments, the accompanying horrors could not just be. They are the work of something ever lengthening, ever grasping, vilely glowing, of tendrils. But, egods, tendrils of what? I will tell you what this thing is, my dear ones. We, the disciples of the never-ending Carnival Queen, almost never speak his true name. Doing so is not only poor etiquette, it can also result in a range of decidedly undesirable consequences. It can make hounds howl themselves hoarse. It can turn a lass's youthful flowing locks instantaneously white. It can reduce an urban sophisticate to unsuppressibly thunderous flatulence. Even if the name is just whispered, for leagues around, barrels of beer will turn sour. My people generally refer to this dread as the colossal squid god, or sometimes as the Lord of Unlife. But, given what has been revealed to me by the Carnival Queen, the extraordinary situation here in this realm, the momentous destiny of Oregon 2019, and my appointment as the Queen's prophet, I feel compelled to reveal to you the menace's true name. Please take a moment to prepare yourselves. Foul Wiggle. I pray no harmful or disgusting effects have befallen you. Oh, dear pilgrim, in times like these, Don't the tendrils of this abominable entity seem fated to coil themselves around every nub of creation, to squish and contort all things into instruments of the wiggly one's baneful purpose, to drive you and your compatriots on in alternating states of dread and somnolence to that impossible horizon, to the end of days? Yeeks! But, pilgrim, do not despair. Though the colossal squid god is a dreadful menace, I have already, in emerging into your world, begun a series of events that will inevitably lead to his destruction. You see, there is a portal that connects your realm to a place of inconceivable wonders, to the Dream Cavern. The colossal squid god, in an act that was horrendous even by his standards, caused the portal to cave in, but through the grace of the never-ending Carnival Queen, I have cleared it, and your realm is now connected to the Dream Cavern. Oh, brothers and sisters, you cannot conceive of what you have been missing, being shut off from that place. There is eternal, divine revelry. When you are there, your soul does not know what direction to euphorically thrust itself. Do you reach out your arms to be hoisted onto one of the golden chariots being pulled by teams of charging lions? Or do you stare hypnotized at Cleopatra riding bareback on the madly bucking bull of Apis, never deviating from perfect form? Do you take to the dance floor and whirl to celestial harps, or do you seat yourself at one of the tables and join in feasting, the likes of which I can assure you have never imagined? Preternaturally pungent saffron, berries so sweet it feels wrong eating them from bowls. They should be gobbled improvidently from the palms of goblin kings. Pickled crocodile eggs so profoundly sour they'll cause the skin of your tongue to become wrinklier than a naked mole rat. Bottomless bottles of the finest vintages of snake bile wine, none aged less than a millennia. And oh, for the main course, plates overflowing with roast stoat that is eternally falling off the bone. And everywhere you walk, you wade through waist-high golden rose petals. Oh, the Dream Cavern. But what? You undoubtedly ask. What could be the source of such wonders? Well, I'll tell you. I'm not here to be coy. I am here to reveal. There are winds, brothers and sisters, that torrent into the Dream Cavern through the great tunnel, that blow from Revel Realm, the holy kingdom of the never-ending Carnival Queen. These winds fuel the revelry, animate the Queen's disciples, provide the Dream Cavern its magic, if you will. In addition to the great tunnel, which leads to Revel Realm, and which we are forbidden to enter, there are countless smaller tunnels which we can enter, which lead to earthly realms, to different parts of this world in different time periods. Each of us, disciples of the never-ending Carnival Queen, hails originally from one of these earthly realms, and at some point in our lives somehow discovered our realm's portal and passed through it, travelling down one of the tunnels and emerging to our delirious delight in the Dream Cavern. Most of us, upon finding the Dream Cavern, wish to reside there revelling forever. But this is forbidden. Eventually, the magical winds of Revel Realm increase, begin to gale, and instead of torrenting through your soul, uplifting it, they torrent against your physical body. They begin pushing you out of the cavern. When this unhappy occurrence befalls you, you need to choose one of the tunnels, to choose which earthly realm you will be banished to until the winds reverse again and you can return home to the dream cavern. I've been back and forth between the dream cavern and the earthly realms more times than I can possibly recall. I've been to Babylon in what you call the 18th century B.C., to Athens in the 5th, to Chang'an during the Tang dynasty, to Versailles in the 19th century A.D. In all these times and places, I encountered wondrously radiating works created by other disciples of the Carnival Queen. Theatre, painting, sculpture, music, poetry, acts of pure, unselfish kindness. And seeing these, my heart rejoiced. Yet the extraordinary power of these works was never enough to repel the colossal squid god's tendrils, their inexorable wiggling, their execrable doings, war, greed, oppression, tribalism. Tragically, you know them well. Now, as I said, this particular time and place, Oregon 2019, holds momentous significance. So much so that the colossal squid god felt it necessary to fiendishly blockade the portal at the witch's castle in Forest Park.
But why, hill creature, why? Your soul bellows.
I can hear it even if you cannot.
What is so remarkable about this time and place? What does your god, the never-ending Carnival Queen, intend for us? Why did the colossal squid god try to stop her?
Well, the hill creature is here to illuminate you, my impatiently bleating sheeplings. But first I must tell you something of my journey here. I was in the dream cavern, reveling wildly, dancing the minuet with a howling Hittite archer, when suddenly tragedy struck. Before that moment I would have considered tragedy to be inconceivable in the dream cavern. Even small misfortunes could not exist in that holiest of places. It was believed that Foulwiggle's tentacles could never enter there, in that place where all was perpetually right and strange. But somehow he breached the shield of sanctity protecting that place and slithered inside 2 of the reveling disciples, coiling around their hearts, issuing vile commands. Tragedy ensued. Murder. The details of this hideous sacrilege will come later, but for now let it suffice to say that I was aghast, shattered. We all were. And in the chaos, brothers and sisters, I received a sign from the never-ending Carnival Queen, revealed to me through Cleopatra atop the charging bull of Apis. Following this sign, I fled down a tunnel that was known to lead to a cave-in. Reaching the collapsed section of the tunnel, I threw myself at it and started digging furiously with my bare hands. Normally I would have considered such an act utter madness. No disciple had ever managed to dig through the cave-in, not even with pickaxes. It was universally known that whatever time and place lay beyond it was eternally unreachable. But none of that entered my mind. All I possessed was the need to somehow claw my way through, to emerge in a new realm, one where no disciple had ever travelled before. Now, of course, I recognized the hand of the Carnival Queen guiding me. I don't know how long I was at it. Hours, days, time collapsed. It was a shock when the seemingly interminable mass of dirt in front of me suddenly gave way. Fresh air. A fiery portal stood before me, which, as my eyes adjusted, revealed itself to be a doorway through which sunlight streamed through. I scrambled out of the tunnel. An empty room, stone walls, earthen floor.
What realm is this? What time? What place? I rushed through the doorway. A forest of glorious towering pines, a briskly flowing stream filled with large mossy rocks. Along its bank, countless ferns. Yes, brothers and sisters, the tunnel led to the witch's castle in Forest Park, to the promised land. A man was glaring at me. Pale fellow, cropped hair, pants. Late end times, I wondered. And then it hit me. Oh no, divine carnival frouvery! I'm still clad in my divine carnival frouvery! Normally, we disciples discard our carnival garb, unique to each of us and deeply sacred, just prior to exiting the dream cavern, and we proceed down our chosen tunnel nude. Near the terminus, we can rely on finding a big pile of clothes, men's and women's in various sizes, suited to the period that the tunnel leads to. Of course, that wasn't the case in my current situation. In my mania, the last thing I was thinking about was clothes. This was a dangerous situation. Depending on the period, I could be taken for a demon, a god, an invader, a heretic, a lunatic, or who knows what. Being misperceived out here, in these superterranean realms, by natives with hearts and souls riddled with foul wiggles tentacles can have deadly consequences. Somehow, though, it felt right to be standing there clad in my holy vestments. The gentleman's countenance challenged this intuition, however. At first it struck me as hostile, but as he approached, impudently amused. He carried no spear, sword, dagger, hand cannon, or lethal farm implement, which was somewhat comforting. In his hand was a small, black, rectangular object, which he seemed to be pointing at me. An amulet of some sort? Well, as you know, it is the astonishing custom of your time period to neglect to engage in events as they occur, but instead to videoscopically record them, and then, some time later, to review them with one's circle of acquaintances, whether they took part in the event or not, on separate videoscopic machines at separate locations. The device that the gentleman was holding was, of course, one of these machines. This custom proved fortuitous in this case, because this man, who will turn out to have a crucial role in our holy redeeming tale, captured and preserved our exchange. In the future, I may make this videoscopic transmission available to the people of your realm to view in reverence. I imagine that I will wait until after the colossal squid god is completely defeated and Revel Realm on Earth has been established, when I can finally relax and have a nice long soak in a warm tub. On that happy day, when you get to see this videoscopic transmission, you will observe that upon conversing with this man, I was thunderstruck to learn where I had arrived. Of course, everything was not as it seemed, not for me then any more than it is for you now. I still had much to learn of this world, and this world had much to learn of me, but all is wondrous. I have not a sliver of doubt that we shall overcome the squid god and be saved together.